Good morning and welcome to CT Brandon. I am Pastor Nikki and this is
Pastor Charles.
And we're so glad that you could join with us today. It's going to be an awesome day.
Absolutely awesome day.
Yeah, spring is coming.
Yeah.
It is coming.
Woo.
I swear.
If you're not in the area, we just got a whole bunch of snow and it's April.
You know, we just get used to it. It is what it is.
Florida sounds nice.
It doesn't it, right? But we are so glad you could join us today. If you have not joined us before, please head to our website, www.ctbrandon.com. Click on I'm new here. We want to get to know you, right?
Absolutely.
It's weird. People see our faces, but we don't see their faces.
I know. We would love to see your face.
I've had people say to me, hey, it's been so good seeing you every Sunday. And I'm like, yeah,
sure.
I kind of forget that other people see us. But we're going to do some trivia today because I love trivia.
And I don't.
I made it easier for you today.
But did you?
50% chance of getting it right.
50%. I like those odds.
50% chance of getting it wrong.
Then no.
These are just true or false.
Okay.
True or false. Easy.
So true.
Okay. So Prince Harry is taller than Prince William.
Ooh. That is true. No. All right. Fair enough.
I actually don't know which one's which, but yep.
Yeah.
Okay, 50. You were close.
No, I wasn't.
Or the opposite. I don't know. Okay, 50 Cent and Charlie Chaplin were alive at the same time.
Ooh. Like 50 Cent? Like,
A rapper.
No. False? Is that true?
It's true.
Charlie Chaplin was not that old.
He was 2.5. 50 Cent was 2.5.
2.5. Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. Yep. Sorry. Okay. You're close.
Oh, you mean sorry, I was thinking born at the same time.
That's definitely no.
Yeah.
Okay. Idina Menzel sings Let It Go 20 times in the song Let It Go from Frozen.
20 times? I'm pretty sure it's 20,000 times. I'm going to go false.
It is false. It's 21 times.
21. Ooh. Wow, you're just going
for us.
Nope. Nope.
We're
gonna let that go.
Next time, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 parts of the body cannot heal themselves.
2 parts of the body cannot heal themselves. True?
False.
False.
It's just the teeth.
It's just the teeth. Mm-hmm. Okay. Your teeth can't heal you? Oh, I guess
No,
not.
no,
Oh,
they
okay.
can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you know.
Madonna's real name is Madonna.
No. Wait a minute. I don't know. Gonna go false?
It's true. Madonna's real name is Madonna.
Serious?
Fun fact.
Well.
Cinderella was the first Disney princess.
I feel like that's false.
Do you know who it was?
Do I know who it was? No.
Yes.
Little Mermaid?
Snow White.
Snow White, yes, because that's a really old. I got nothing.
Stop trying to look. Okay, last question. Spaghetti-O.
SpaghettiOs.
No, that's wrong. Spaghetto.
Spaghetto.
Is the singular word for a piece of spaghetti.
Who does this?
Spaghetto.
I'm gonna say true because it's weird enough.
It's true. So you had a spaghetto.
I had a spaghetto.
Spaghetto. Well, this has been fun. I think you did pretty good.
Yeah. No, I
You got
didn't.
at least half.
Should have been. Were you keeping track of points?
No.
I wasn't because I didn't want the
You
disappointment
got
of
at
defeat
least
and failure.
2 of them.
Yeah. I don't know.
You got 3. You got 3.
I got 3. Yay.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's
no.
50-ish%.
No,
but we're going to have a great service, right?
Yes. The service is going to be much better than my ability at trivia.
We're going to have a wonderful message from Pastor Michael continuing in the book of Mark with us. We are also going to have some awesome worship, and then I'll be coming back at the end for some announcements. So enjoy the service.
Do you remember in high school You probably did a section in your English class on poetry. You learned about great poets and maybe playwrights from around the world. One of those was Robert Browning. He was the first to coin the phrase, less is more. And he did this all the way back in the 1850s. This saying would go on to gain popularity, especially in the 20th century in the architecture world. Since that time, you've most likely heard or used this phrase countless times. Less is more. I have a friend who is an incredible musician. And when he went to college, he went to a college that was known mostly for its worship department. The musicians that come out of this college are second to none. Now, my friend went to audition on a few different instruments. His comments about the advice he received in regards to drumming have stuck with me for years. He was told that he is an amazing musician, but he hits way too many things. The advice was to go and to listen to Tom Petty and understand that he needs to serve the song by understanding this principle: less is more. In the book of Mark, chapter 4, down in verse 30, it reads this: He also said, with what can we compare the kingdom of God? Or what parable will we use for it? It's like a mustard seed, which when sown upon the ground is the smallest of all the seeds on earth. Yet when it is sown, it grows up and becomes the greatest of all shrubs, and puts forth large branches so that the birds of the air can make nests in its shade. For as long as they could remember, the people of Israel were looking for their Messiah. That kingdom would be a powerful kingdom, like the days of old. It would be built in the memory of King David and have a strong army, powerful economy, and be seen for its strength around the world. Or so they thought. So Jesus begins to describe his kingdom, and he does so through parables to anyone who would listen. But again, it looks very different from the system that the original audience wanted, a system that was more reminiscent of Rome and maybe the memory of past glories. Instead, Jesus described a kingdom that was more in line with a Tom Petty song than a full drum solo. Now, one important piece of this parable is really its audience. Mark 4:33-34 tells us that Jesus explained in details to the disciples later. So this tells us that there were more people listening. Now, for the disciples to be singled out, there had to be a large group of other people listening. And in verse 35, Jesus decided to go away from the large crowd and head out to the other side of the lake just to get a break. So there were others present, and this was a pretty large and diverse crowd. Then think of the foreshadowing of his own death and resurrection. This tells us that there were maybe some religious leaders present, maybe with Roman ties or influence. Now, I'm going to be really honest. This sounds like a church. This might even sound like our church. An amazing church, Christ followers who are all doing this walk together called Christianity. Now, some of you have been walking with Jesus for many years. Some of you are new to faith, and some are still deciding if you're even interested in Jesus. Many of you are first-generation Canadians or new to our shared country, and some of you have lived in Brandon your whole life. And to that wide spectrum of people, there's also a wide spectrum of biblical knowledge and even experiences with church and faith. It might help to know that Jesus was addressing a crowd that's not too dissimilar to us. Now, the parable he shared painted a word picture of a small and slow beginning where the phrase "less is more" made a lot of sense. Even in the practical world, when Jesus sent out the disciples to do ministry, he told them not to take an extra coat or extra sandals because less is more. These parables and stories were important because he had to reshift the mentality of the listener. If you have small kids, or maybe you can remember your own childhood, building Lego is always a favorite thing to do. Out of a few simple blocks, you can create an entire world. In my house, my kids inherited all of my Lego from childhood and my brother's Lego, and then they added their own. They've been building this world that has systems of economy. There are procedures for trading bricks. There are rules for Lego battles, and because it's a boy and a girl, Lego parties. It is complicated, and it makes the most sense to the creators of that world. For this Lego world to be explained to myself, because I don't get it, it would need to be explained in such a way that it was clear and concise, something I understood. For the original audience in this parable, Jesus is explaining his kingdom in terms of mustard seeds and even lamps. These lamps and mustard seeds were meant to replace the images in their minds of pre-programmed grandeur and opulence. Even about the Old Testament temples, where there was specific colors and types of wood and specific rooms and systems. And so instead, Jesus wanted to dial all this back to a less is more concept, back to being a manger, and even the simplicity of dying on a cross. Here's the thing about mustard seeds. A single seed goes into the ground. It is indicated that for this time and region, this would be probably a black mustard seed. For that tiny little piece of seed, it becomes up to a 6 to 10 foot tall plant. This plant then creates one of the favorite spices of the ancient Roman world. More importantly, it created shade to everything around it. There is nothing better in the hot summer sun than walking into some shade. And do you ever feel like you need shade from the world around you? This sounds like some other words that Jesus used, like, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come to me, all you who need rest and are weary. And then it creates more and more seeds. I like to see the kingdom of God like a dandelion more than an oak tree. As annoying as dandelions are, they are also self-spreading and are everywhere. It takes very little for them to spread. Imagine him explaining this whole concept as, my kingdom will start small, and I will be a seed put in the ground. From me will come a massive global crop, creating shade against weariness and the trouble of this world. Like a mustard seed, a single, small, and seemingly insignificant thing, Jesus, through his death, caused the growth of a powerful, life-giving organism called the church. Less is more works in your spiritual life because it is how our faith started and it's how our faith grows. Less is more works because what lasts starts small and spreads organically. Less is more is a system. It is a process and even a pattern of life. You would be hard-pressed to find something lesser than a mustard seed, and yet it becomes very powerful and very purposeful. Now, a personal faith in Jesus begins with a seed planted in your heart, and then it grows. Your discipleship and your spiritual growth doesn't just happen overnight. It starts small and begins to grow. No matter where you are at in your Jesus journey, it started small and it grew. Don't be frustrated if you feel stalled out. The best way to build your own faith is to share your faith. Maybe you need to let the faith that's inside of you create some spiritual shade for those around you. Maybe plant some seeds of faith through prayer, conversation, or just showing hope to the people around you. Spreading the simple message of Jesus doesn't need to be complicated. Jesus is love. God is love. Less is more. At CT, we believe that our purpose, our mission is to love God and love people. How are you loving people this week? How did you love people last week? Maybe coming back to the concept of less is more is what you need to do and where you need to be. Again, I say that spreading the simple message of Jesus doesn't need to be complicated, because less is more.
Let's sing You Unravel Me. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. Let's sing that again. You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God, and I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Your love has called my name, and I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. For I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear, no. For I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear, for I am a child of God. Let your song rise to Him today. Oh, oh, you split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split For I am a child of God. I declare that I'm no longer a slave to fear. No, no, no. For I am a child of God. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life, you are love, bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord.
We are so glad that you could join us today. And here at CT Brandon, we don't just see this as people that come to a church, come to a service once a week, and then go and do their own thing. We see this as a family, as a community, and we would love for you to be a part of that community. So whether it's your first time tuning in, or you've tuned in for a while and you just really weren't sure if, this whole thing was for you, we would love to have a conversation with you. We want to get to know you, so please head to our website, www.ctbrandon.com. Click on I'm new here and fill out that information. Or maybe you need prayer. We have an amazing prayer team here that is so dedicated to prayer, that wants to support you. And so please, if you have a prayer request, we would love to also pray with you. And we're just excited that our community continues to grow here at CT Brandon. We are not meant to do life alone. We're meant to do it with one another, and we would love to walk through life with you. We have some studies that are going on. We have some studies that have started up. We have people now coming and talking to us about what would it look like to start a small group study. So we would love to have you connect. If you have kids, we have an amazing kids program here on Sundays. We have an awesome youth program, and we would just love to connect with you. We also had baptisms that happened in the service this week, and so we are going to be showing those next week. And baptism is so amazing. It is people saying, God, I want to dedicate my life to you fully. I'm going in full head, like full head forward and not turning back. And that is an awesome celebration. So you're going to be seeing that awesome celebration next week. If you want to volunteer, that's also a great way to get to know people. And we can both do that if you want to continue with the online campus, or if you want to come in person. And maybe you're thinking, well, my gifting's not music. I'm not good with kids. I'm not super outgoing. God has a place for you. God has a purpose for you, and we want you to know that. We would love to figure out how to best help you to volunteer here at CT Brandon. Lastly, if you came prepared to give, we are so thankful for that. We are thankful for the amazing community we have here at CT Brandon that is always willing to give and willing to support the amazing ministries we have going forward. And so if you want to give, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can do it through texting the number on the screen. You can do it through e-transfer info@ctbrandon.com. Or if you want to give in person, that's another great way. We are so thankful for the community we have. We are so thankful for the church we have. And we hope that you leave today feeling refilled and refreshed and being able to share with others the hope and the joy and the peace that Jesus brings in each of our lives. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you again next week.